Jeff Dangle is a leader in every respect.
Brilliant scientist.
He's really been an icon in the field.
Avid reader and knower of all English literature. He's a little bit out on the edge of the bell curve for most nerdy scientists.
His infectious enthusiasm and extraordinary knowledge of genetics and plant science is something that just energizes everybody around him.
I met Jeff in 1990. I still vividly remember being in a big open atrium like this one we're sitting in here now, and I heard a distant voice saying, "Hey, Eric," as if it was someone I'd known my entire life.
I first got to know Jeff when I was a faculty member at North Carolina doing research, and he arrived, and he is such an extraordinary force, such a well-known scientist and an incredible leader for all of us, not just for the biology department, but for science in general.
The first time I met Jeff, I was a PhD student at UC Davis, and he gave this beautiful seminar. Everyone was completely impressed, including myself, and then I got to meet with him afterwards, and I told him a little about my project, and he stopped me and said, "Okay, I spent 2 years of my life working on that in a basement. It never went anywhere. Don't do that." And I laughed and took his advice and was very glad that I did.
I think any time that you're having a discussion and there's some things that are challenging to say and you're waiting around to see who's going to be the one to say them, Jeff Dangle is often the person who does that. And he does it in such a knowledgeable and direct way that it energizes people and moves things to the next place that they need to go.
I think one of the big reasons Jeff has been so successful is that he has really pulled the whole field along with him. So this area that he works in of plant pathogen interactions was really shaped by a very small number of individuals, and Jeff stands out large in that group.
Jeff pushed people to really think about the molecular components that were involved in the interaction between a host and a pathogen, and opened up this whole new way of thinking about these interactions that have really allowed us to push the whole field forward.
When I found out Jeff was getting recognized with this award, I was ecstatic because it just makes perfect sense in terms of what the Danforth Plant Science Center stands for and what he stands for. The highest standards in terms of science, energizing people about plant science and its potential, and a new world where we can do everything that we need to do with genetics and plant biology to create an equitable and prosperous future for everyone.
He lives his life in a way that causes you to want to do your best. And it's not because he goads you into it or he tells you you should do this, but he sets a very high standard for his own behavior, both scientifically and as a person and in all sorts of interpersonal actions and in his ethics. And he's the kind of guy, when you're around him, you're a better person too.
Derek, he's constantly educating himself. He reads. He's concerned about the environment. He's concerned about our government. He's concerned about wildlife, the outdoors.
Derek is a Renaissance man.
He's always reading.
I think he subscribes to 15 or 20 newsletters and periodicals.
There's very seldom a time that he comes to Mellonmore that at the end of the day when I go to my office, there's not several articles that he's put on my desk.
Helping my education. He is interested in education, continuing education. He's learning all the time.
They are two of the most giving people you will ever know, giving of their time, of their funds, of their love.
Sally Driemeyer is a teacher at heart. She understands how important it is for young people to have a good, solid education and to have access to all the resources that make their success possible.
I was sitting in science class one day, and my teacher said, "So there's this program that is with the Danforth Center, and you can go and do some research with them for a couple months." And I was like, okay, well, I might as well apply for it. That was really when I fell in love with science and when I really learned that that's what I want to do for the rest of my life.
Our outreach program helps us to identify those students that we can bring into the center and offer real research opportunities to.
The reason why I can come here and do research is because of the Driemeyers.
They're almost like mentors to how to treat other people. I mean, their energy and their compassion just going and doing and doing.
We've had Derek and Sally and right in there with everyone, learning, asking questions, interacting, discussing.
They come in and they help with ideas, they help with ways to make this place better and ways to help educate teachers and ways to help school districts that necessarily don't have the funding that they need to do science and teach their kids, you know, what they need to know to go out into the world.
Without their interest and their support, I don't think we would be where we are today in our science education and outreach.
Who knows what I would have done if I didn't discover science, and maybe I wouldn't have found what I really love to do.